stand and give a pledge of allegiance to the flag, and then Mr. Bailey will lead in prayer. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Dear Lord, I thank you for this opportunity to come before you and before the taxpayers and the residents of Adams County. Lord, help us to keep their wishes and their best interests in mind. Thankful, Lord, that we live in a country that we can do this and do this in a civil way and have discussion and disagreement and debate, Lord, and just have all that end up in a good working relationship with our colleagues and the residents and the staff here, Lord. Just ask you to bless this meeting and bless everything that we do. Ask these things, Lord, in the name of your Son, Jesus Christ. Amen.
Amen. Okay. First thing, minutes.
Motion, I did. Motion to approve?
Second.
I was gonna say that one is already done last week, is that?
So minutes have been approved and seconded.
And you're ready for my report here.
I'm ready for Tony.
And I, once again, am going to hold off on the, is this what this is that? Okay. The animal shelter, they are supposed to be here. I think they're on the agenda for like 10 till or something, so we can wait and do that when they get here so you can
Okay.
discuss things or whatever. So that being said, I have Allied weekly health insurance claims, and those are in the amount of $60,790.03. 790.03. Of that, medical was $15,062.91. Pharmacy, $45,579.28. And fixed costs were $147.84. Shannon, I'm trying to remember what they say fixed cost was. We asked them on the health insurance claims. Or what was that I that asked them? It doesn't say void, it doesn't say stop loss or anything else. It says fixed cost.
Well, I mean, fixed costs probably includes TPA fees, my assumption.
Yeah, it would be your TPA fees, it'd be your stop loss premium, it's all lumped in.
One time they said there was something about,
The Allied bill is only fixed costs, it's not claims.
it usually doesn't say fixed costs on what I get from them. And I think that it had something to do with a stop loss claim that went a little bit over the amount, and they had to do it this way or something, that at any rate, that's only $147.84.
Okay. Motion approved.
Okay. And I did sign off that I confirmed they were our claimants. The memory,
Motion passed.
the memory is just not good. Hey, this will be easy to know the motion in a second this time. There you go. But if I forget to change and say the Steve who motion, I might accidentally do that. Payroll claims, and the payroll claims are in the amount of $359,998.07, $359,998.07.
Second on the payroll.
Motion approved.
Second. Passed.
Okay, and then we have the payroll time card approval that you all would have received, that the state board wanted us to get to you all for,
Yep. Motion
You know,
approved. Yep. Read those.
that. And we have, and I scanned this and sent this to you, since it's so many pages, it's the clerk's monthly report submitted by Shelley Bright. You should have gotten this email to you, although if you want to look at one, I have an extra one here.
I looked at it. Oh.
Motion to accept that report?
So moved.
And then, like I say, I'm waiting on the other one. So the only other thing that I would have for me here is accounts payable. And the accounts payable, looks like Brad, you didn't spend as much this time. What's
We're
up?
done with Chipman's bill.
291,877.76, 291,877.76.
Did you get a chance to look at that?
I did. I reviewed those. Motion approved.
There you go. Way to go, Brad. Or was that Paul?
Combination.
Okay.
It's a team effort here.
That is all that I have until the animal shelter report later.
Okay. Brad, Paul? You have anything for us today?
That windows up there.
I know.
So, we're opening up the equipment for the dump truck chassis, the tandem. Tony, you want one of these bid sheets?
Yeah.
In there?
I mean, unless
You wanna-
you or Paul will give me a filled out when we're
Yeah.
done,
Well-
that then we're fine. Because I'll put those in the minutes. Just gonna take them up under advisement today anyway, make sure
Yeah.
everything's.
You're all right.
Maybe, you get it parked there.
You're all right. Basically, yeah, we're coming, guys, open these up. And then we'll take them under advisement till next week, like we normally do. And I forgot to bring my glasses in today, so I've asked Paul if he would go ahead and. There you go. Get mine.
I offered mine too.
And the first one was from,
First one is from W.A. Jones. They got the non-collision.
on these, the non-collisions, all we need.
Okay. There, all right, okay. So that's awesome. Okay. Looks to me like W.A. Jones's bid was 167,067 even. $167,067.
67 and what?
$167,067.
And again, this is just for the bed, right? The bed, the underbody blade, all the hydraulics, everything except the frame. There you go. Yes.
Everything but the chassis.
Everything but the chassis. So the next one we
Next
have
one is
is from
Linco.
Linco,
Yes.
out of Merrillville, Indiana.
Got the non-collusion. Yes. Okay. Sure got through the page. Okay, Linco's bid was $180,873.
108,
180,873.
okay.
Okay,
That's all we got. That stuff.
take them under advisement and get back to you guys. Come back next week.
Thank you.
So, and other than that, all we have is basically our day-to-day routine. We've had few issues. Again, I told you the trucks and our oil distributor gave us a few fits, so we didn't get as far as we wanted to matching. And now we're gonna have to really watch with the weather being cold in the mornings. So no, we are not burning dirt yet. And of course, we got rain coming in, how many days this week now?
Soon.
That's part of our job is dealing with the weather, so. And like I said, we're finishing the very last round of mowing. Most of them are gonna be done this week. We're done mowing then, so. painting stripes on the roads? that
They
we-
should be, they came into Decatur. They're doing Decatur's too. I think I might have said that, and I might
Yes.
bring them in sooner.
Okay,
And somebody said they're in Decatur now, so
Okay,
they should
good
be
deal.
hitting ours
good deal.
hopefully this
I was
week.
just up on Minnick Road and I thought, ooh, this is a little interesting here.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. So hopefully by the end of this week, they're again, depends on weather.
Good deal.
So, but other than that, business as usual.
Very good.
Thank you.
Mike.
Thanks. Rick's not here yet.
He just walked
Oh, he is.
walked in.
Rick, just in time.
Right on cue. Don't even sit down.
You couldn't time that any perfecter.
6 or 7 resolutions. I think that's- Is that even a word? Perfect?
Yeah, anymore, everything's a word. I looked something up the other day. I thought, that's not a word. And it was a word.
Well, but that's a council resolution.
I don't know
So
about
this would be
perfect
the
or.
commissioner's portion of
forget
it.
what it
Well, we've got it as an ordinance.
That's
Go to the
resolution of
BCA.
the- Wait a minute.
No, we've got an ordinance for the commission.
Oh, you got a different.
Right.
This is for
It's just
commissioners,
because
an
it's 10
ordinance.
foot.
So it's-
6 foot wouldn't be a problem.
This is the city, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
so that'll be the 24th. I don't know if Mark heard that.
What's that?
The 24th of this month, I got to go to the BZA board about the fence variance.
Mhm.
The city's going to give me, they're supposed to send me who we have to contact as far as neighbors.
Yeah.
Yes, we'll have to send that out to the neighbors around, or when I get that, should I get
When
with
you get it, yeah, get it to us, so we'll have to,
I mean, we got to get it out before.
before the meeting, there's
next
usually,
meeting, so she's supposed to give me the list tomorrow.
all right, yeah, just email it to me at Clayton, we'll get it sent out to the adjoining neighbors. They have it should be a form, they have a notice form,
That's what she said.
and we just gotta mail it
Yeah.
to the adjoiners, okay.
I don't know if you've seen Progress is doing well with the conduit.
Yeah, I walked by just a few minutes ago.
Top of my head, I was doing shit, this and that.
22.
Good.
And he's on, Steve.
Get the heat on. Okay. They came to me and I said, I'll get a hold of you.
Just, I know we talked last meeting, continue to think about storage areas, and I know that's kind of
I think,
in the back of your head.
whenever we have time, maybe you and myself and even maybe Mike.
Good. Good deal.
You got some thoughts on that?
Good, appreciate that. I know, as we think about expenses, what it would take to build out a adequate record storage area with whatever the appropriate infrastructure is. Maybe begin to put that together into some kind of an estimate so we can, I know you didn't have the room yet, so we can't, but we eventually would like to get some of that money, maybe even some ARPA funds to get whatever it takes to build out a room that would be appropriate for long-term record storage.
Like
Good
I
deal.
mentioned, we have to create some space.
Yep, I hear you.
Like these.
Gotcha. Good deal. Even if that's kind of a longer term down the road, I just want to make sure we have where it's not a crisis, but long range plan.
It's been a topic quite some time.
Sure.
My name's been thrown out.
Good deal. I think that's one of the blessings of ARPA is we've been able to think about those kind of things that are like, we sure would be nice to do that, but I don't know how we're going to get the money to pay for it. Those are those long-term nice to have, gee, I sure wish we could do this kinds of things.
I think it
Yeah,
needs to be done. It's been stated that that's what we want this building to be, is a records retaining.
yeah. And it certainly has the capacity to do that and the viability to do that. It's going to be here long after I'm gone. Yeah. Thanks, Rick.
Thank you. Ed, do you have anything for us?
Real quick, a couple things.
Good morning.
Morning.
Property taxes are coming in, pretty good. Things I can see things starting to gear up a little bit. In a couple of weeks, of course, we'll be quite busy. We have about 14.5 million still to bring in for this year. But, we're right on record, right on where we're supposed to be at this point. So that's doing real well. I gave you a sheet earlier about, the interest, incurred on all accounts and investments. And we're in real good shape there. Projected will be at a record pace for, and by the end of the year. I'm conservative that we'll set a new record, but we'll go as high as, I think we may, we'll see. The rates are good. Our main operating account is adjusted to the new rate as of the first of the month. And everything's going according to plan there. And the tax sale coming up, it's in 3 weeks, Tuesday, October 31st, 1 o'clock in this room. So it'll be after your commissioners meeting that day. We still have 26 parcels, which is a little higher than normal, but that still goes pretty quick. We have, we'll see, they're coming in and paying on some of those. We have 8 different special parcels, and I talked to you before the meeting about that, 7 in the one location and 1 in a different one, and we're working on that. Other than that, interest earned on Golden Meadows, Steve, I know you'd like to know that, as of the first of the month, $28,750 as of the first of the month. So that's pretty doggone good. Other than that, that's all I have. It was cold in the office this morning, cold. The furnace started to get hot. So that's all I got.
Interest on Golden Meadows, that's since, is that year to date?
Yes, 28,750.11.
Oh,
We started off with 1,792,000 and we're now at 1,820,764.
What was the beginning date on that?
That would be June the 9th. So I know you, Steve, you specifically like to kind of keep up to breast on what's going on with that. And with the Trust Indiana, it's really simple to give those reports.
Thanks, Ed.
Yep, thank you.
Okay. And the shelter's not here.
Here either.
Nope. Mike, did you have something for us?
Yeah. It's always something to, I guess.
Roy's going.
I tell people that when I'm getting quotes, I said,
Can I have one of your all's copies when we're done? Or does he want to make me one?
these are just quotes right now. They're not invoices.
I still, if they're gonna approve them though, I still want them, so we'll get an invoice, we can match it to the quote.
Well, I'm not sure that they're gonna approve it today.
Okay, if they don't approve them today, then I don't care.
Yeah, but what I want to do is I just want to go over them because we got Steve Boone, you got the Dell, ESI.
We took that off.
Yes.
That's the Dell quote. Steve Bailey, you got the HP.
Okay.
Okay, and it doesn't have any of the networking on it. Those 2 quotes, they're in 2 sections. One's for servers and the other one's for storage. So I'll give you a little clue what happened in 2016 when we went to get some stuff, servers and storage, and a little bit of switching for the jail. Not anything for this building, was $550,000. So 8 servers, some storage, and some switching just for the jail, $540,000. So what we got today is, 6 years later, maybe 7 years later. I said at the time when I came in, if we had to buy servers and stuff again, I would do something maybe a little bit different. And so I'm not quoting Blade servers. and what all goes with it, and the chassis and so on. These would just be regular one-use servers. We got it sized out. We're not doing much in the way of VDI anymore. I more or less got rid of most of that, with the exception of training classes, which we'll use in there. It's a good fit for training. So if we take a look, let me start in with the HP stuff right now. And because they're different in different ways, but if you do the sum of them, if you take the HP servers and storage and add those up, if you take the Dell storage and servers and add those up, there's only like a little over $2,000 difference between the two. Okay, so that's pretty good. And even though we don't have some wide variance, pretty closely to the same thing, what they came. HP storage is, and by the way, I doubled the storage because I'm anticipating maybe we might be doing the scanning. Okay. So we do the scanning, we got more departments that want to do scanning, we're going to have more storage to take care of that. So HP storage is $93,685 for HP. Dell storage, theirs is $73,123.68. Both of them identically the same on what they can do. The advantage that HP would have is diagnostic software and so on. When they bought Nimble had very much more diagnostics to help you out. They do a better job of getting the parts pre-ordered before we even know that we know the parts and stuff like that. So, you know, that's all coming with 5 years of warranty on both of those. So the difference there between HP and Dell happens to be the software. It's a little bit better. They functionally, both of them will do the same, but the HP is more, it looks at the logs, it sees stuff that's going on better with the logs. If it sees something that needs to be done right now, and we got the maintenance on this, that'll happen. They'll just order it and it'll come in. And, you know, we may not even know that we need it yet, you know, and then all of a sudden the part will show up. HP bought them, and that's what we currently have. So we have also some time spent with Nimble and getting used to it. They're pretty difficult, both of them, to manage. So, servers, let's go to HP servers. It's $100,859 for HP. Dell servers, it flops the other way. Dell servers was $118,949.12. So if you bring both of those together, plus with the experience that we have with HP stuff currently, the total for HP is $194,544. And the Dell is $192,072.80. So not quite $2,500 difference between the two. Our experience lies with HP inside.
Certainly makes sense to stay with that then, what do you
It
think?
does.
Yeah.
It got close enough. HP is usually 30% higher or more than Dell, but we're catching them on the year end. This is their year end. And, you know, we don't have anything other than HP switching. And so I'm going to give you that one here in a minute.
Sure.
But what I'm looking at right now is I would kind of like to stick with HP, and we do have the funds in 1138 to do that. So, and I want to do it through a 5-year lease so that we can get 5 years of maintenance onto this one. We tack that on. Those quotes do have 5 years of maintenance and everything. We have a hardware go down, get into piece. It's all part of that. It's all part of the price. So I'm kind of leaning towards HP from that standpoint because we have nimble, we got to move data and so on, no better talk to each other on that whole thing, on trying to migrate data if they're both on the same software and everything. And $2,500 difference with everything, that's pretty cheap. You know, that'll make that more seamless and work a little bit better.
So do you, at this point, do you want to think about, you said you just got those this morning. You want to think about that and bring it back to us with a recommendation next week, or do you want us to take action? What's your timeline on these, Mike?
HP, their year end ends at the end of this month.
Okay.
So we, you know, I kind of said I would probably try and bring it in and something this much. I don't want to just, without people thinking about it a little bit, you know. And the worst part of it is this next one that's coming up. I mean, I kind of knew, you know,
Oh, crap.
it's where everything's going now. And the switching, they have to diagnose and they have to do so much anymore. And the processors and the things that's going on into those things are, it's just something. So I got a story that I want to bring up on the switching, and we are, you know, I put that over to Bob. I told Bob, I said, you know, I got to split out duties by you guys so you can gain some expertise in what you're doing. And we can't have everybody to be an expert on everything that we do. So I kind of pinpointed Bob, and I looked at him and what he's capable of doing and so on. And he's good at things with construction, cabling. I had to teach him some stuff with that because that's where I was strong with and so on. You know, and that was pretty easy for me to do that with Bob. And I says, I want you to do the switch. I says, I'm too old to keep doing that stuff. And at the time, I didn't know how long I was even going to be here. So I said, you start working at it and learning it because you're probably going to be here longer than I am. And switching is tough. It's not easy. People think it's easy. It's not. There's nothing easy about it. And so he's kind of picked that up and he's done a very good job with it. His experience now, when he came in, he had no experience on very much stuff, but it's all with HP now. So it just doesn't make any sense for us to go away with HP. And I was trying to catch them on the year end as well with this whole thing to do a package with this. This is why they're coming in almost at the same price as Dell. Because, you know, we're throwing in the switching, year end, and so on. When you see this, this is 80% off their list, and it'll just floor you at 80% off. Try not to pass out when you see what this is going to be, because it's, and that stuff was quite a bit off there too. And Dell really came down as well. You know, I just said that. So don't look at them yet until I mean, I'm giving you that now, but let's explain what goes on with it. Most all of our switching is end of life currently. But that isn't just Adams County government, and I didn't include any of the other non-Adams County government sites. Okay, they're not in here on this at all. So I asked them to quote what it would take to cover current buildings that we have, you know, because we are on end of life. Anything that we get, I mean, HP will replace it for nothing, but it's all old technology and it's not where we should be. And especially on wireless, we are not at all where we need to be. We've been trying to update stuff gradually to get away from Ubiquity over to HP, working with ClearPass. And then I said, break it out building by building, because I got a feeling we're not going to be able to afford it. Not the whole thing. And so break it out building by building. But what we really need to have happen here for sure is with all 5 buildings or so that we have, we need to finish out our SD-WAN part with Adams County government stuff. And HP doesn't do that. That's Fortinet. That's what we got in this building. That's what we got at the 2 towers, and that's what we got at the jail. So I said, figure out the Fortinets that we would need for community corrections, county garage, both courts. And then kind of throw that in on the bundle with this thing. So that turned out to only be $14,000, which that's pretty decent on that. That gets us all on SD-WAN. Now, SD-WAN is the connectivity between the buildings. It's wide area network connectivity. And what it does is it just looks at all the pathways that we have in Adams County government that comes back into this building before it goes out to the firewall or whoever we're communicating with. This building is the hub for everything. So we got this building, and you go over to the jail, it's like a spoke. 2 courthouses, a spoke, community corrections, the highway garage, even right now, Golden Meadows is a spoke, kind of, because it was that way. Probably when we get down to it, it'll probably be eliminated. But that's what we have. So it kind of looks at it and it says, how do we get to communicate with any of those buildings through any means that I can? And it just uses it. Typically before that, you had to do a pathway, a designated pathway with a cost to it. And the network had to figure out a cost. And so if you had multiple ways into a building, there was a cost associated with each one. Maybe one would even be down and the other one would be active. And if something happened to this path, then the network would be smart enough to bring this one up, change all of its IP addressing and all the other stuff around on the network to make it work. SD-WAN is a new one. You can actually keep all your pathways up everywhere. They're always up. And if one of them goes down, the network just functions. There's no startup or anything with it. It just says, oh, I can't use that one now, or I'll use this one to get over to it. But there's no startup part that takes place. And there's no, they call it BGP, where it would take and it would have to recirculate and make everyone else know, here's your new pathway to get to it. That was the old way. SD-WAN is the newest way, and it's a way to go. It's a way that we started in to get stuff done, but you have to have SD-WAN equipment in to make that work. So that was kind of a pretty cheap cost at $14,000 to pick up the rest of the buildings. And the other people that want in on it, they can certainly do it, but they're going to have to pay for it. Bern PD, Geneva PD, all the other places, City Home, Decatur. They can get in on it. They just got to pay for the device. But what I included there was that. So I'm recommending that we do that also, because the cost isn't that much and we can fit that in. But the switching on that, we probably really need to get it updated here, because this is the main site, the main hub site on the switching. This is not SD-WAN that I'm talking about. This is just current switching, wireless and stuff like that. We are completely on non-supported equipment. Well, we are, but it's old non-supported. We can always call up HP and get these old devices back out, but they're not with the new technology and stuff that it needs.
You said they're though at end of life, right?
Yeah,
So-
they're not missing anything anymore.
So end of life, that doesn't mean end of support though. So there would still be,
There's no more firmware upgrades.
okay.
But if you call up HP and you say, hey, I got a piece of hardware that's down, they'll send it down if they have it.
If we stay on the old equipment, does that expose us to more cybersecurity risks being on end of life equipment?
Yeah. Anything that you can't update firmware with or any of that.
Obviously, that's a concern.
And we got to do it in this building because this building is the hub of everything, you know? And so if I have to take a look at it right now with things, I would say we need to pick up what we need to do at the jail. We did a little bit at the last 7-year ago round when we brought in some HP stuff there, but all the wireless is home wireless. It's not where we need to be. We can't keep people off if they know enough, and police officers would know enough that we can't keep them off places that they shouldn't be in. Like if we got wireless networks, it's for the public and the EOC room for those people to come in. And we do enough looking after things of what they're doing and allowing things on stuff and not allowing things with the police officers. And if they think they can get over to almost the Wild West where anything goes on these other side, they're going to do it. They're not dumb. I mean, we had some issues before, even with some stuff. They found some workarounds on stuff so that if they really didn't want the people in dispatch to know where the cars are at, they could do some stuff and keep that. So, we're trying to fix all this stuff up so that, when they turn their car on, it just tells dispatch that's where it's at, and they can't do anything with their PC to get around that, right? So, so I looked at it and I said, okay, I'll do the SD-WAN for all the Adams County government buildings so that we can keep that thing going and make our WAN stuff good. What's it take for the service complex to get new wireless and new switching here on that? And if you look at that, they'll have it in there. It's $243,803.91 just for the service complex. And then to fix up the jail on added stuff, because we didn't have enough of it 7 years ago on what we needed to do and get the wireless done. But it's $137,500.15. So on the networking side, I'm kind of recommending that we do the 3 areas I'm talking about, the jail, the service complex, and the SD-WAN, and that comes to $395, $738.88. And if we add the storage and the servers on with that, as comparison to 7 years ago, we were at $540,000. This is now $590,282.88. So we're over what we spent 7 years ago, but we're getting quite a bit more on the switching side of everything. And I think what I have budgeted going into 1138 year by year to make my payments from, if we take that and divide it by 5, we're like 118,000, but then we would have a leasing agreement that we would get charged interest with My hope was to keep it at 150,000 a year for 5 years, and I think we're gonna be able to get in there, pretty close to it. But that's what I had budgeted for that, coming up into that area. But I want you guys to think about it.
Yeah.
Because the other way, I mean, if you just go with that whole net, you guys saw what it was. That's as much as this whole project, if I do all the buildings the courthouses, community corrections and all that stuff.
Do you, ultimately though, we'll need to do the rest of those buildings, right, eventually?
Yeah. But I want you to think about it. Because you got the stuff there, you can just keep those. I mean, you can keep them, look at them, and do the stuff there, whatever you need to do. And then maybe next week we can come in and talk about 10 or something like that, make a decision. But you can decide how much you want to go through the rest of it, because there are stuff like community corrections. We got a lot of public going over there, a lot of kids. They're in there. They need internet. They got to do internet to get back into Belmont or Adams Central or whatever it is to get their homework done. We got to keep them separated. We can't have the people over there that are employees getting over to that separate network. We got people coming in with these daggone cell phones and tablets and so on, and it is a freaking mess. Let's just put it that way. That's as easy as I can say it. These cell phones and tablets and stuff that people are walking into the buildings and expecting to use the network, we got to separate them out, and we got to keep our own people off of that stuff. We got to. And then we got to have everyone connecting into the VPN so I can push them through this other network, and we're being monitored and protected onto that all the time. Yeah. And the outside people have to be separate, but what we're going to be able to do with ClearPass is I can put negations into that and says, these people over here that are part of this network, don't let them over here. These people that are over here, if they find out an account or something and they want to go over here, their hardware is not been allowed over here. Don't allow them in. And so we can keep the stuff separated. We can have differences in our building with the public coming in, and they can have internet, but they can't go back and forth between them. And that's what we really need. If you look through the stuff with ransomware and so on, and everything that's going on with it and the stuff that's going on with some information that I can tell why people are doing it now. There's social media sites that are demanding your birthday. Did you know that? They are demanding your birthday. If you come in and you want to go in and do anything, you're not going any farther until you give them their birthday. Now, why is that? Because people are using dates for their pins on their devices. So if they get your birthday out and they got your email address, and what is it that they use in medical places too? What's the first thing they ask you? Outside of your name, sometimes they hardly even ask for your name. What's your birthday?
Go to pick up a prescription somewhere. All they want to know is your birthday. They don't
Yeah,
care your name.
exactly. That's, and I'm seeing it on social media, and when they do that to me, I dump them. Right now, you don't need to know my birthday. Onto that. Well, that's because they know what people are using on their cell phones for their PIN and so on. So if they can get your account, now they get your PIN, and then how are ransomware and so on being distributed is through these cell phone things. And we better start taking it seriously on our networks. Very seriously. And tablets and people bringing in their own equipment. And these switches that I'm trying to do, it's going to take some work. It's not going to be easy. This is not simple addition and subtraction of numbers. This is like AP calculus to work on this stuff and get it to go. There's got to be policies. We're going to have contracts that people are going to have to sign. If you want to use them in, the department head says, we're going to let you use your personal cell phones. We're going to have to install software on them. We're going to have things that's going to take a look and say, you know, you're putting stuff onto here and it's not good, you know, and we got to remove it and so on, or you can't come in. So
We'll take and look this over. I'll give those to Stan and, you're coming back next week
I'm
then.
coming back next week. And I'm sorry, I know it's a lot on the spur of the moment, but I got them in at 10 o'clock this morning. So
Okay.
I thought we wanted to talk about it and give us some time to think about it. And, you know, if you want to do the whole networking, there it is. I might be able to come close to paying for it even through the 5-year thing, you know,
Okay.
with 1138, if we want to go that route.
All right,
So,
sounds good.
all right.
Thanks, Mike.
Thanks, Mike.
And anytime that, you know, we approve contracts for software and hardware upgrades, so, you know, we have to at least reference, you know, procurement method and then say, look, it's compatibility, it's electronic data processing.
We're not taking the low
We're not
cost bid.
taking the low,
It sounds to me like
bid
we
because-
have considerations there we need to
yeah,
make.
because we've got compatibility issues and
Yeah.
so I've got to, we'll look at that aspect of it, so.
Yeah.
But I think the last time when we did this, I think we used the lease purchase program through Indiana Bond Bank, if I recall,
Yeah, we did.
because they had a good interest rate.
Yeah.
And so we may want to look at that again.
Yeah, and each one of these companies, Dell offers them and HP offers them. It's not through these companies. They got them. And I got some stuff on them, but I know what happened last time. You guys, I think, could do better
Yeah.
than what those guys actually did. So
Good.
let's take a look at that too.
Okay.
You know, if you got some numbers there and you want to explore it,
Yeah.
you know, my feeling was for 5 years to keep around 150,000 a year payment. And we already got that kind of built into the budget
Mhm.
on 1138 year by year. Well, it's more than that, but I got to eventually update PCs and printers and other stuff. It's about 250 is what I got in there, so.
Okay,
All right.
Good deal.
thank you.
Thanks, Mike.
Thanks, Mike. Animal shelters here.
Mike and Cindy?
That's it. I got it. I'm gonna take it. I don't know if they want one.
How are you guys today?
Good morning. Still morning, well, for another 15 minutes.
Yeah, another 15 minutes.
Use it. A copy of your reports. If they have a question over. So it's in front of you.
What's your hours out there?
10 to noon and 4 to 6 p.m.
10 to noon and 4 to 6. Okay, is that posted on the doors or is it posted anywhere?
No, it's not on the doors. I think it might be on the website. A lot of times what I tell people when they call, I said, let's set up an appointment so we can spend time with you with meeting with the dogs. Because it seems like, you know, that 10 to 12, we're spending a lot of time inside cleaning and doing things.
If we're there, well,
Yeah,
that's how we do it.
yeah. that's
Oh,
how
if you're
we
there,
do it.
you're open?
Yeah.
If we're there and they want to pick something up on
If they
Sunday.
want
So you really don't have set hours then?
We had those because we were required to, but if you called us on a Sunday afternoon and we're there and your dog's there and you want to get it, or you seen one online, you think you want to adopt it, we want you to come. You change your mind. You know, so if we're there, we're flexible.
You got anything, Steve?
Well, I think maybe we should, as far as the report, I think one of the things that we've struggled with a little bit as we get the report is kind of trying to figure out, okay, exactly what's going on here. How many animals are in the shelter? How many were received? How many were
Okay.
adopted?
And
So
I don't,
it's a little hard to kind of keep just get a real snapshot. Here's the status of the shelter right now.
okay, because I kind of changed them, was changing them around different ways to see which would be best. Like I started out with the ones that got adopted, then I moved into the ones that got claimed, and then ones that, if we had to euthanize, and then the ones we still have.
Okay.
But I don't really address what came in. I didn't know if Chad had to do any reports on any of that stuff as he picks them up.
We do. We get a report from Chad, but it's kind of more of a, it's a little more of a mileage report than it is
And I
exactly
think
an
the
activity
location in the
report.
county. I think he puts the location that it was now,
Okay.
like Geneva, Decatur, whatever it is.
One of the questions I think that is always in my mind is how many animals are at the shelter? And it's hard to kind of look at this report and say, okay, we've got 7 dogs and 3 cats, and of the 7 dogs, 2 of them have been there for this long, and 3 of them have been there for this long. And
Well, if you go down, whoops, the very bottom section where I said, the top where it says still have, these are the ones I still have in the shelter at this time.
okay, so looking at this report, then, if I look at the still have column, the ones there, looks like there would be then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. 20 animals, is that correct, that you have 20 animals right now?
And then if you go to the far left, you can see how many of them are dogs,
Okay.
how many are cats.
Okay,
And actually, we've got 4 extra that we don't have invoices on because a dog come in and it had pups the following week.
oh, okay.
We had gotten rid of some of those.
Would it be, I don't know, I assume this is an Excel spreadsheet or something that you're looking at. You know, it would be interesting if you could just give us a total there at the bottom and just sum up that still have column, for instance, so that we could see that there's 20 there, and we could see that of the, and you know, maybe even the disposed of and the adopted
So just kind of
columns.
the bottom.
Maybe, yeah. And again, I know as you add lines, then it's going to move that total. I've worked enough with Excel that I know that sometimes an active spreadsheet like that, when you're trying to put a total column in or a total row in, it's not so easily managed. But that certainly could help us
Okay.
kind of look at this report and just get
So
a
you could see
quick
it.
look at it.
Put tighter.
Would you agree with that, Steve?
Yeah, and then like on your disposal dates, is there any way we can refer this to if they were dogs or cats as just?
I
Yeah,
do have them listed that way, but I
okay.
could
Well,
put it.
maybe I'm
I
not,
could maybe put it in a total. Oh, no, I don't. Not on
No,
this report.
you don't have on this report, that's why I was trying to,
I thought I usually put them whether they were dogs and cats. Yeah, we could do that.
okay. It might be just a little
Do
helpful.
you want them, in a separate total at the bottom too?
That would be nice if we
So
could do
all
that.
you really have to look at is that.
Yeah.
bottom
That
total.
total column.
We're sitting here trying to figure this all out. It just help
Yeah.
us out.
So how are you doing? How's it going? Give us a recap of, you know, obviously you guys entered this without a lot of experience and a lot of what, are you happy that you did? Are you okay with it? Okay.
Enjoy it. I mean, there's hiccups, there's people that call that want to surrender theirs all the time.
Yeah.
So, and then if they don't get it surrendered, you know, and
Yeah.
sometimes.
Biggest problem I got is Amish.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I know my wife kind of follows you on Facebook, and we see dogs appearing for adoption on Facebook, and that's always a great thing if you can help us. And I know when you live with them, you become attached to them too, so I get that.
Yeah, it seems like they are, and not all of them. We have
Right.
some Amish that has claimed their dogs.
Okay.
But a lot of them, they just assume they're gone and they're gone. And I said, you know, don't assume,
Yeah.
call the shelter.
Yeah.
like a scenario we had this past month, we had dogs come in from the same address a week apart. They look like they were from the same litter. So it's like, okay, is this guy trying to get rid of his pups each week? And Chad said, well, I'm not gonna go if he calls a third time. Well, we decided we were gonna go check it out. But there was only like 4 houses on that road. So we thought, instead of going straight to him, we're gonna see if the neighbors claim them. Well, here the guy was in the right. They weren't his dogs, but they were his neighbor's dogs,
I'll be darned.
which surprised me because I didn't think an Amish would turn in his neighbor
Yeah.
about their dog.
Yeah, it's like next door neighbors.
Yeah.
They wasn't very happy.
So, yeah, they weren't, you know, and on the report, they can see where they were picked up, so they seen they came from the neighbors.
Right.
And they didn't like it, that there was a hefty fee to pick their dog up.
Sure.
They was trying to sell it to me. I said, I've got
Yeah.
a building full of dogs.
Yeah,
I need to buy your dog.
yeah.
But, yeah, so I said, you know, tell them in your community to look for your animals.
Think
If
if,
they find
uh,
out they're yours, we're gonna bring them to you.
If the newspapers would print what they said about hours, or if somebody needs to go out there, if they're there, call or something.
I just tell people to call first, you know, just to make sure we're there, but.
Because if somebody just goes out there and you're not there, you know, may upset them, but if they know, hey, if we're there, just call or whatever, that would help if the papers would.
Usually the ones that get upset.
I mean, that during the off hours, you said you're open from what, 10 till noon and 4 till 6? During the off hours, it would be better if they would call before coming
Yes.
in.
Yes, tell them
Yeah.
to call
Yeah.
that.
Really even any of the hours, because usually when we're in those hours, we're cleaning. When we are.
And I wear headsets because some dogs get loud. But, you know, so we don't always, you know, and I try to return everybody's call, even the ones that people call and they want to surrender. I call and I refer them to boss. So,
For a lot of people tell us that they still think the old shelter's running because something that it still shows that it's out there where Charlie was, so I don't know.
Where are they saying
On the
that?
website maybe?
Should
Yeah, I
be.
I'm
don't know.
wondering if it's
Everybody's
that, somebody told me they thought they was able to change that.
Or her niece tried to change it, but I don't know if she got it done or not. So.
Okay.
Figure
Yeah,
either.
because they'll drive out there, even I can give them the address and they still drive out there.
Let me check our website.
Do you pick up animals at all, or they bring them to you? So
Yeah,
if somebody
they don't bring
calls
them.
and
Animals-
says, I got a cat here or whatever, they need to get
They
it to
need
you.
to call the sheriff's department, animal
Okay,
control.
that's what I want. So if there's a problem and an animal needs delivered, they should call the sheriff's department, they can determine.
On our
And animal
website.
control.
Is it?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know where they're coming up.
You want to
with
come look, see if that, make sure it's correct. That's on our website. Over here.
Yeah, that's.
So I don't know where they're looking, but it's on our website.
Maybe they're just assuming it's out there because
Could be.
it's where it was, I don't know. But
Or there may be some old Google thing.
maybe that's what it is too.
I mean, there are things that are, that
And
people just,
You're right, when people Google, that's what she was trying to change on, Google Maps. Because people will Google, I'll give them the address, but I don't know that they always listen, they probably figure, oh, we'll just Google it.
Yeah.
And Google's out there.
it's like our restaurant, we have unauthorized people. I've had people call and say, well, we're looking at your menu and it's not even correct. I'm like, I don't know what you're looking at, but it's not our menu. But they swear up and down it's because Google did something.
Something.
So,
Is that your pumpkin display out there?
Mhm.
That is awesome. I took my wife. If you haven't seen what they've got out in front of their
cool.
pumpkin display, is one of the coolest ones in the county. I took my wife out and showed it to
And
her.
they were for sale, now we put them down as a free will. We had them priced at first.
Yeah, that is
Our
very awesome, about real eye catcher.
plan is to buy a few more beds with that extra money.
Then I would still need a motion to approve entering the
Okay,
report in the
Make that
record.
motion.
Second, so moved.
Okay.
Okay,
Good.
thanks a lot,
Hey,
folks.
thanks for coming in. Appreciate it. I need to get out and just see the facility. I've not been able to do that yet, but
I
I'm
went
the
over
new
to
guy here.
Bluffton's. We're not as fancy as Bluffton's,
Okay.
but like Mike says, he said, we've got a pretty nice building for,
Good, yeah,
what.
good deal. Yeah, thanks for coming in.
Thank you.
Thanks for what you do for our animals.
All right, we're gonna go. Jeremy, you're up.
Thank you.
Okay, yeah, just.
Ready?
It's kind of ominous here.
No, we just spent the sentencing hearing in Superior Court with staff. It started at 9 and it ended 5 minutes ago, so I'm regathering my thoughts. The reason I'm here today is that if you can envision the child support office, the prosecutor's office, when you go upstairs in circuit court, when you either get off the elevator.
Hey, Jim. Jim, we're trying to,
If you have
Thank you.
questions, you can go outside and ask them.
okay, sorry about
No,
that,
you're
Jeremy.
fine. So when you go upstairs to the child support office, you can either go through the elevator or the stairway, and then immediately to your left as you approach the courtroom doors is the child support office. It's not a very good location for purposes of safety, because if somebody has ill intent, and they often do against the child support caseworkers who are making them face in court, they're sitting ducks, literally. And so we looked into what it would take to get a more secure door window that's bulletproof and so forth. By comparison, in the prosecutor's office, they're not necessarily sitting right, the staff aren't sitting by the window, so they're not exposed to that immediate threat. They could see and then get out of the way, whereas the child support, they're in that small room and they're right there. So we looked into and got an estimate for what it would cost to make that happen, and it's $32,000, which is a lot of money. But at the same time, if it's you sitting there, they feel like, wait a minute, we're sitting ducks. Part of it is an evaluation as to whether or not you as commissioners reasonably foresee the judicial building project taking place anytime soon. I mean, like within 5 years, or is it going to be more? And I'm not trying to push that. I'm fine where we're at, and as you can see from the plans, we're going to stay. The prosecutor's office will stay where we're at. We don't need anything new, but trying to extrapolate that expense and how long we should spend that out there. And I'm informing you this because I'm not asking you to decide anything today. I need your guidance. Things that are in play, I can spend 4D incentive money on that. My concern with doing that is when we started several years ago of supplementing the 4D staff's salary with incentive funds, which we could do based on our consultant, it saves the county from paying that entire salary and those benefits, okay? Well, as a result, the incentive fund balance has gone from 200,000 to about 146,000 today, which is fine. I mean, it didn't do any good to just sit there. To grab a $32,000 chunk out of there, knowing we're continually drawing that up, that remaining balance down, gives me some pause for concern. I don't know whether or not there's any funds that the commissioners have for building upkeep and those kind of improvements. I don't know. I'm just asking for your thoughts, guidance. Any other companies you know that might be able to do this? I can email you each the quote and you can see what it is. Part of my concern is, I tried it out this morning. I came in the 3rd Street entrance circuit court. Normally I walk in the 2nd Street and I immediately go to the left, so I don't go by any security with my key fob. But today I walked in and as I got out of my car, I had a duffel bag with my laptop in it, not thick at all. And I took my handgun out of my center console and put it in there and put it on my left shoulder and walked right down the middle of the hallway, and that sensor thing didn't beep or do anything. So, and I'm not being critical of the sheriff, I'm just saying it's a real concern. I mean, you could easily walk through. I haven't tried Superior Court, but that's a separate building and it really doesn't matter for the purposes of this inquiry. But somebody could easily walk up there and it's too late because court security in the hallway doesn't sense it. Person in the courtroom doesn't see what's going on until it's too late. And these are people that are ticked off. They're mad at their girlfriend or ex-wife for making them pay support, and now they're really mad because these ladies are intercepting their taxes, taking their driver's license privileges, getting income withholding orders, and they're the face of, heaven forbid this person actually have to take care of their children, but they take it out on these folks. Just something to be concerned about, and I know the cost, and I don't mind. I think it's worthwhile if we think it's going to be 5 years, which it very well may be. That's $6,000 a year. That's not a lot to improve that part of the office. Like I said, I'm not asking for a decision and just some guidance. I may come back again. I'll email you the proposals. But when I saw that, I thought this is more of a commissioner decision because it's a building and it's redoing it, and I don't want to cause, well, why did they do that for the prosecutor's office? I know I don't envy your positions in that regard because then everybody else has their concerns, which may or may not be as equally justified, but it's a lot of money. That's where I'm at. So any questions you guys have on that, I can answer them now.
I don't think I have any question. I guess just a comment. I've seen some of the security inspection reports from the various buildings we have here, and especially the court area buildings. And I'm really concerned about that. I think we have to address those security concerns. I'm hopeful that we can come up with a plan that does establish an opportunity for us to rethink how our courts are designed and where they're located.
Right.
And I think that's, in my mind, that's the direction we have to go, rather than spend hundreds and hundreds. This is not hundreds of thousands. So
Right.
rather than spend hundreds and hundreds of thousands, which was in my head when I read some of the security reports, I'm thinking,
Right.
oh, we
Yeah.
can't, this building is
Right.
not worth that kind of investment. We need to think about that. So in my head, I think we have to go down that path of let's get a better judicial system for set of facilities. I don't know whether that's a 5-year plan or a 10-year plan. I hope it's not 10 years. I hope it's 5 years or less.
Sure.
But I say that, and $30,000, if we're putting people unreasonably at risk that are in situations that deal with upset clientele like you've described. $30,000 is not a lot of money
No.
when you're thinking about somebody's safety. And I know you're right. When we think about that, there are probably a dozen different situations throughout our system that we can improve people's safety. And I think we should be considering every one of those as important.
And I appreciate you saying that. And I know you can't say, you're talking about, I think we came up with, it was 29 million was the estimate for the new
Yeah.
comp. So that's not something you can say, okay, let's write a check, it'll be built in
Yeah.
2 years. I understand. One of the hybrid things that I forgot to mention when I was talking about is, and I don't know what these cost, but I thought, why would we spend $32,000 to create something that's bulletproof if you have an actual device that someone has to walk through
Right.
that detects the gun, and that doesn't need to be bulletproof up there.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
So, and that may be.
And maybe
vendors
reusable, redeployable in a new situation.
Correct. And one of the things that we may want to ask our consultant for 4D funds is whether or not the incentive funds that go to the clerk and me and the county can be used on something like that. Like clerks can't be used for my bulletproof door, but we can maybe all say this benefits all of us.
Yeah.
They're not going to let us pay for the entire thing because it would affect other users of the court system, but we may be able to get 75% of it, for example, paid that way. And then we're not putting bulletproof glass and doors, and this may be something that's transferable to another building someday. So anyway, just like I said, I'm brainstorming. I just want to let you know where we're at. I will want to try to move forward on this not 5 years from now, I know you're not asking me to do that, but so you're not wondering someday when I come back, I go, Jeremy, what are you talking about? I feel like it's better to let you know up front.
Good.
Okay, thank you.
Good. I appreciate it.
Appreciate it, Jeremy.
I think those are things that it's our responsibility and your responsibility
Yeah,
to keep those in front of us.
yeah. Yeah, let's talk about it. Let's get it out
Yeah.
there. We'll be all right.
Okay.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Hey, Jeremy.
Yes, sir.
Steve. Qualify for AP funds.
Oh, yeah.
So hopefully so to do that. Yeah. Well,
Let's see if he comes back with us. Maybe an improvement in the detection system versus a go-to door.
I don't either. That's what I'm saying. I'm worried about. I'd rather him apply for it now.
Thank you.
Jeremy, what we're chatting about up here is just thinking about the ARPA funds, and I realize you didn't necessarily ask for funding for this. You're looking at what's the best solution.
Yeah.
But these are the kind of things that are, in my opinion, from when I think about ARPA, I think about things that are maybe nice to have, but can't quite get there right now.
Right.
This is one of those things that nice to have, maybe even need to have, can't quite figure out how we're going to pay for it right now. I don't know.
Especially if we can use funds from incentive funds that ARPA would be covering the whole thing.
Yeah.
They may cover
Yeah.
40% or less.
Yeah, and especially if we can have a solution that is transferable or transportable to a new building, if we build a new building.
Exactly.
Well, I don't know what that is, but, yeah.
And real quickly as an aside, I do want to thank you guys. It worked out perfectly for our office to be able to come over and use a building in this a room in this
Yeah.
building when we didn't have air. It was great. I mean, just perfect. So
And I think that's a good testament to the folks here and the facilities people here and Mike and everybody thinking far enough down the road to say, what if? And then you were able to experience that situation and take
Yeah.
advantage of it. So I think that's
So thanks again.
great.
We'll see you guys.
Okay, county attorney. Mark, do you have anything?
Yep, following the council meeting this morning, got information from Julie Marie, so I understand, and last week we reviewed the update to the policy manual concerning approving forms of bonuses. And so my understanding is the council this morning did approve the actual salary ordinance for the bonus schedule. They also passed a resolution, I think to that effect. So what the commissioners need to do is we need to adopt, and I've got an ordinance here, and I had Julie Marie revise this. So there's two different types of bonuses that can be considered by the county, and that's the severance bonus provided to current county employees upon separation from employment, provided said employees fully satisfies all performance criteria specified. And then the other type is the temporary duties bonus, which is provided to a current employee from one department or agency of Adams County government for their temporary assumption of significant duties and responsibilities within another department or agency at the direction of the commissioners.
Ooh, I like that.
Okay, so that's how that is worded. This is an ordinance to approve that policy, and then approve this ordinance, then you can adopt and approve the actual policy itself that will be an addendum to the policy. So
Also with this letter.
well, that letter
Or is that
is,
something different?
that's going down the state board.
Okay.
Julie Marie's signed that, so that will go down along with this and this.
Okay, this is when I said this morning that our office has been working with Mark and Julie Marie. All of this was put together since that last meeting in order to conform with what state board said we needed to do, which was our only concern from the beginning was to make sure we're doing it right, which is, you said those
I
exact
appreciate
words.
that.
Mark, should we wait until Stan's here or should we go ahead and do these?
Is there a hurry that we need to do that?
We need to get the ordinance, actually, the ordinance is, you could get it introduced today.
Okay.
Let's introduce the ordinance, and then when he comes back, then you can.
Introduce it,
approve
table it, and then
Yep.
look at it for
Yep.
action next,
I'm going to go ahead and
next
give it
week.
the number 22.
That's correct. So it's ordinance 2023-22, which is an ordinance of the Board of Commissioners of Adams County, State of Indiana, for the establishment of a policy governing the award of bonuses to Adams County employees. Just need a motion to approve that first reading and table it for further discussion and adoption at your next meeting.
I'll make that motion.
I'm seconding it.
All right. And then we'll, then the actual policy itself will be approved once this is adopted.
Okay.
So in general, ordinances, in order to be approved on the same day that they're introduced, has to be by unanimous consent of the board. So without
Do that
standing here,
anyway,
you
couldn't
can't do it anyway.
Cool,
But I wanted to get it on record, and so we've got it in the queue for next week.
good deal.
Okay.
Does your office in that state board, do I need to do the letter?
I can have Julie Marie.
Okay, I wasn't sure.
When we get it adopted, then
Get it
just, yeah, get it to Julie Marie,
Right.
copy me and see if she can send it down then. But yeah, bring this back. I'll leave this here with you, Tony.
I'll just
Bring
it
that
all
back next week.
Next week.
And then tomorrow, morning, I've got a, appointment scheduled to meet with an appraiser that's going to look at the building across from Madison. So we'll meet with them and see. I spoke to another guy and he came down and then he took on some more work. And so then he turned it down and then he recommended this guy. So I talked to him and it's scheduled tomorrow. And also then with, the trailers, pallets, Ed Spangler is supposed to call me. I talked to him this morning. He's still working to line up trailers because the guy from the pallet company, they bowed out, you know.
Let's just bring them to them or something,
Yeah.
right?
And so now we've got to line up more trailers. And so Ed's supposed to call me back tomorrow and give me a date and time. So then we can send a letter out to Mr. Worley and tell him this is when we're going to be there.
Okay.
Good.
So I'll email Mark Wynn and give him an update so he knows. All right. Other than that, I think that's it. Did you have anything else, Clayton?
Nope.
Okay.
Got it.
On that River Bend, so is that gonna, do you know when that hearing is scheduled, that Jones Estate
For
River?
the states?
Yeah. So there's a hearing on this, on the.
So my intended, so the Jones Estates is the Riverbend Trailer Park, that litigation they initiated against commissioners. I've gone over the discovery with you previously. They added recently the previous owner, the plaintiffs moved to add as a defendant NK Holdings, the previous, owner. After doing that, they then attempted to push for case management dates and deadlines in the pretty near future. Counsel for NK Holdings, who I used to actually work with, said, no, that's not how it's going to work because you just pulled us into this litigation. So he actually recently filed an objection to their case deadlines, and which the court granted. His court, currently, he filed a motion to dismiss on behalf of his client saying that there's no reason they should be in the case. So no case deadlines. They're all actually, plaintiffs just filed a motion. Sorry, this is a lot. Plaintiffs just filed a motion yesterday to now stay all case management, pretrial dates and deadlines until the court makes a decision on that motion to dismiss, which given the court's approval of NK Holdings objection, I assume they're going to stay any and all dates and deadlines until after that motion to dismiss is litigated, and then they'll kind of start back up.
Yep. I saw that, I saw the order on the motion to stay, so I wanted to make sure I knew what that was, but that was the motion.
I did the order,
I saw an order. I saw an order. Well, it says that, I think it's gonna, something's set for hearing.
Oh, okay. Well, he might.
So something's set for hearing.
I just hadn't seen that yet, but
Sorry, it's a lot of legal mumbo jumbo,
Yep.
but.
Yeah. But yeah, so those are off our calendar anyway. Anyway, that's, So
And I'm monitoring the deadlines regardless, but it'll be handled.
Any questions?
Shannon, do you have anything for us?
So a couple weeks ago, I brought you guys this CDL training repayment agreement, and Mark and Clayton have reviewed it. I have not obviously executed one yet because I need you guys to approve the agreement itself, and then I'll talk to Mike about money and executing it and all that fun stuff, as long as you guys are good with it.
Okay.
It looked like it made sense to me. Make motion to approve.
Second.
Okay?
Passed.
Is
And the
that
only,
like is that gonna have to be a resolution, an ordinance, or is it just
What?
what she's doing here? I don't know how to word. I'm not sure. I know they've been talking about a CDL agreement. Does that have to be officially a resolution or ordinance, or can we just have in the minutes that the commissioners approve a CDL agreement?
Yeah,
I'm just not sure.
we could probably
I mean,
adopt it as,
they can approve the agreement here, and then like Julie Reed does with ARPA and stuff, bring a resolution or an ordinance later, I suppose.
yeah, I think they can approve that agreement, but then we can put that in the form of a resolution so we have a better record of that is
Right.
a policy that we follow.
That way Shannon can proceed
Yeah.
with whatever she needs to proceed with. We'll just get a
Yeah.
resolution done.
The commissioners can approve any agreement that's presented to them.
Okay.
So I think you can approve the agreement, but yeah, I don't know, Clayton, maybe let's do just a resolution that approves that repayment.
I still need to write a policy. I know
Policy.
that. Yeah, and I'd like it to be part of the manual. moving
That's
forward.
fine. So then we can,
So we'll just incorporate the
Yeah.
actual policy, right?
yeah,
And I haven't written it yet.
Yeah.
I can still write it.
but it's gonna follow this agreement. That would be all
Just
right.
gives it more teeth.
Okay, the only other thing I have is I do have an employee who's on FMLA right now, and they have become eligible as of last week for the 5-year pay that we do, which is a one-time payment of 80 hours, so I just need your approval to process that.
Is there any reason we wouldn't do that?
I just have always come, I mean, if you guys don't want me to come in the future, I don't have to.
Explain to me the 5-year pay.
So there's a policy that we have in our manual that states that when an employee is on an unpaid leave of absence, FMLA or otherwise, and they've exhausted all paid benefit leaves, then the county will offer them a one-time payment of 80 hours, and they're only eligible for it once every 5 years. So prior to timekeeping, we didn't really have a tracking system for it, but now I do actually have a code that goes into the timekeeping program, so I can run a report to show me who's received it, who hasn't, all that kind of stuff.
Motion approved.
Yep, passed. Okay, thank you, Shannon. All right, is there anything from the public? Oh, we don't have no public left.
Well, these guys are public.
We ran them out.
Ran them out. I'll take a motion to adjourn.
Second motion.
And all